Hello, my name is Naimul Karim and I am a lecturer at the Media Studies and Journalism Department of the University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh. I am the Media Studies and Journalism Department's internship coordinator, and the purpose of this video today is so that you can easily know about what you need to do when it comes to your internship. So let's start. Internship is something that you need to complete in your final semester at the MSD department of ULAB. Now, what are the things that you need to do in order to complete an internship? Let's start from the beginning. At first, you need to register for the internship course. That's something that you can only do once you come to your final semester. If you have one course remaining, you may still take your internship along with the course. In that case, however, you will need to have a special permission from your employer. Your employer needs to have it written down in the appointment letter that the company will give you enough time to do one particular course in the university. And on that sheet, you will need the head of the department's signature. Only then will the registration office accept your registration for the internship. Now that you're done with the registration phase, the next thing that you have to work on is the career service department. There's a career service center on the second floor of campus B. You need to go there and you need to fill up a sign-up sheet. After filling up a sign-up sheet, the career service center will give you a letter which basically states that you are a student of ULAB and you are looking for an internship. With that letter, you can go around to different companies asking or requesting for internships. Once you get accepted in a company for an internship, you need to come to the internship coordinator of the MSD department and inform the coordinator. If the coordinator feels that the company that you have been accepted in is good enough and matches the requirements of the department, you will be able to intern in that company. The next step will be to ask the company for an appointment letter. Once the appointment letter is in your hands, you need to go and submit it to the career service center located on the second floor. Now, you're going to start working in the company, and in the meanwhile, the university will assign you with an advisor. You will need to meet your advisor at least once a week. An advisor at the university is someone who is going to be your best friend during the internships. You can share everything about your internship with the advisor. Trust me, it helps. If you ever fall into trouble in the internship for any particular reason, the advisor will always come out to help you. So it's always good to meet your advisor at least once a week. Now, eventually, at the end of your 8 weeks, you will need to essentially work for a minimum of 8 weeks to complete your internship. You can work for a longer time, but you need to work for a minimum of 8 weeks for your internship to get accepted. At the end of your internship period, you will need to give a presentation in front of a panel. That panel will include 3 members, and you will need to defend your internship in front of the panel. Alongside that, you will need to submit a report which looks something like this, a hardbound report. The panelists will be going through the report and will also be looking at your presentation. Now, there is a format that we follow for the report, which is very important. You probably worked really hard for your internship, but if you don't submit your report based on the format that is prescribed, your marks may be affected. So today I'm going to go through the format in a very quick way so that it helps you. In case you don't understand some of the aspects, you can always look at the internship manual which we have. This is available online. This is available on the ULAB website, and it is also available on the MSD Internship Program Facebook group, which you should all join. Okay, so as you can see, the first thing that you can see is that the report should be hardbound and it should have a particular number of things on the cover. The ULAB logo, the Media Studies and Journalism Department, the internship report, and your name, your ID, the semester, the code, the host organization's name and logo. Alright? That's the beginning. Eventually, you will have to go inside, and up next is the content section. In it, you have to explain which page, in it you need to explain what comes in which page. After that, we have the student details section, where you have to answer a number of questions about student details. Acknowledgement. This section should not be more than 1 page long. In this section, you need to, in general, thank people who have helped you for this internship. It can be your advisor, it can be your parents, it can be anyone you want to. Next, we have the plagiarism declaration form. You will get the plagiarism declaration form in the manual. You need to put it here and sign it. Next, we have the internship report approval form. You will get the internship report approval form in the manual, and it is also available on the website. This is the form where your advisor will eventually sign if your advisor believes that you have met the standards of the internship. If your internship is deemed acceptable, your advisor will sign right here. We begin with the introduction. In the introduction page, which is generally not more than 1 page, you introduce the kind of work that you have done during your internship. You introduce yourself, and you introduce the kind of skills and the kind of tasks that you have been involved in a very, very brief manner. Please don't exceed more than 1 page. Up next is expectations and objectives. Under this category, you need to explain the things that you expected to learn once you joined the internship. So for instance, your expectations could have been learning how to write a lead properly. Your expectations could have been to garner more contacts once you worked in a company. Your expectation could have been to know how to be a good cinematographer. Your expectations could have been to know how to edit a particular video properly. Whatever your expectations were before joining the company, you need to write it down over here. And then we come to the host organization. The host organization is basically the company that you have worked for. You need to write about them so that the panelists can get an idea about the company's history. Generally, the HR department of your company will have the details regarding this. If not, you can always go to the website and you can always have a look. Another important thing is that you need to make an organogram for your company. You need to make an organizational structure for your company. Your company may not always have an organogram ready, but in that case, you need to make it on your own, and it's something that's very easy. You can always go to Microsoft Word and work it out from there. Up next, we have tasks. In the tasks section, you will need to, in brief, and we prefer if you write tasks in the point wise, explain the kind of things that you have done. Your tasks may include editing, your tasks may include holding the light behind during a production, your tasks may include communicating with clients, it may include writing press releases, writing reports, etc., etc. So whatever your tasks were, you need to write them down in a point-wise fashion. That's what helps. Eventually, we enter the project details section. Now, the project details is the most important part of your internship. In the project details section, you explain the kind of things that you have been doing in detail, right? So say for instance, if you worked for a newspaper, each report of yours can be considered as a project. If you worked for a PR company, each event that you covered or each press release that you wrote can be a project. If you have worked for a production house, then each film that you have worked for, or each project that you have worked for can be separately indicated. Now there is a format for writing a project, okay, and the format is very strictly adhered to, so it's good if you follow the format properly. So according to the format, we first write the project number, so it can be project 1, and then we go to project name, write the name of the project, and then we go to project description, describe the project, tell us what the project is about, what is the main agenda of the project, and then we go to your duties in the project. You need to write down my duties in the subheading and then explain what you have done in the project. Now in a project there are a number of things to do. However, we are more interested to know about what you have done, not what your supervisor has done, not what your colleague has done, but what you have done. If you have been involved in the cinematography of a particular film, if you have been involved in interviewing someone for a research project, then just mention the fact that you have interviewed that person. Don't go along explaining the entire scenario of the project. So in points, write down your list of tasks and explain them properly. Try not to just write one-liners. Try to explain each of them in depth. The more you explain, the better the idea the panelists will get and the better chances you have of doing well. So after writing my tasks, you need to give proof for whatever you have written in the my tasks section. So for instance, if you write that you have communicated that if you write that your duty was to communicate with everyone, you need to show me screenshots of your emails or your SMSs. If you write that you have if you write that you were responsible for reporting a story, then you need to first publish your version of the story, your copy of the story, and then the edited version of the copy. The edited version of the copy is something that your supervisor must have edited. Try to point out the changes, highlight the changes and try to point them out. And then finally, you need to show us the published version of the copy. Similarly, if you write a press release, show us the mistakes that have been corrected by your editor and then show us the final copy. If you are video editing, try to take screenshots while you're working. If you're working in a production house, it might be a little more difficult to get proof. However, you can get proof if you are aware. Be aware, try to take photos, try to be honest at your work. I understand that it may sometimes get difficult to get proof, but try to get as much proof as possible so that you can gain the trust of the panelists. Now that's not all. After you provide all the proof, you need to provide your learnings and your mistakes. You need to explain after each project what were the mistakes that you had committed and what did you learn from those mistakes. Try to explain those mistakes in detailed fashion so that analysts can get a good idea of the kind of mistakes that you were involved in. So to sum it up, project number, project name, project description, my tasks, proof, my mistakes and my learnings. This is the format that you have to follow for each of your projects. At the most, include 10 projects. If you have more projects, you can include them in the appendix section towards the end. Once your project section is done, then you will come to the internship outcome section, as stated in the manual. In the internship outcome section, you will have to explain the kind of things that you have learned. What was the outcome? Did you meet the kind of expectations that you had before joining the company? After the internship outcome, you will have to write the workplace log. Now the workplace log is something that cannot be typed. It has to be written. The workplace log is basically a diary at work. So every day when you go to work, you need to write your entry time. You need to write about all the things that you had done on that particular day. You need to write the exit time as well. So you need to show the work log for every day that you spent in your company. At the end of it all, you need to take photos of it, or you need to take screenshots of your work log and paste it in your report. After the work log, you have to fill up the self-assessment form. The self-assessment form again is included in the manual. You will find it over here. Fill up the self-assessment form. And finally, towards the end, there will be a section called the professional competencies. Under this section, you need to explain the different kinds of professional skills that you have developed upon completing this internship. Eventually, towards the end, there is an optional section. It's called the appendix. If you have projects which you couldn't show earlier, you can include those projects over here. Please keep in mind to follow a uniform format throughout your internship report. Don't forget to write captions for each of your photographs and try to keep it neat. Try to give as much detail as possible. Most importantly, meet the deadline. You have to meet the deadline. Every semester, faculty members provide you with a deadline to submit your internship to your advisor, and you need to follow it strictly. Towards the end, you have to be ready with a presentation, with a slideshow presentation. You need to include everything that you have included in the report in the presentation. You need to be ready with everything. The panelists may go through the entire report and ask you about anything in any order. So don't include a few in the report and exclude them in the presentation. You will be asked about your questions. After the internship is over, you will be given your grade, and eventually there will be an internship dinner which you'll have to attend, where you will be getting your certificates as well. So it may seem like a slightly tedious process, but trust me, it's very easy if you follow the rules properly and if you are honest and if you work hard. That's all from me. If you have any queries, you can always come and talk to me.